I've been hearing a number of people asking how to do an online one-to-one using Skype and the online Freedom to Choose brochure. So I thought that I would offer some guidance with how to do this. The first thing that we need to make sure that we have prepared before the one-to-one is that we have the most up-to-date version of Skype installed on the computer. If you don't have Skype, then you can download it for free from www.skype.com. Your contact also must have Skype. I'll assume that Skype is installed and that you have your contact in your Skype contact list. We also need to make sure that we have the Freedom to Choose PDF document, which is available from Soaring Team, from the Soaring Team website, and we need to make sure that we have that open and on page 1. Now within this, in Adobe Reader, I'm also going to click on this button here at the top, which is the box with 2 arrows in the corners, which is View File in Read Mode. So what that's going to do is just push everything out of the way. So it's just have a nice, clean, tidy window. So at the time of the one-to-one, we come to Skype. We want to initiate that call. So we choose the contact from the list and we click on Call. That will then dial them. So once they've then answered, the screen will change slightly. It's no longer saying that we're calling. Instead, we have our contact's profile picture, if they have one. If not, it just shows them with a question mark for a head, their name, and the length of time that they've been involved within this call. If you have more than one person in the call, then you'll have one of these boxes for each of those people. Down at the bottom of this window here, we have a little rectangular toolbar. There's a number of options down here. If we're having some trouble with sound, then we can click this button to initiate a chat, a text chat. So we can try and resolve those sound issues if they're simple, just by sending a short text message or receiving that. If you have a webcam, then it's possible to click this button and have a video conference so that they can actually see you and you can see them. That's perfectly fine if you're on a one-to-one. If there's more than one person within your Skype call, then you do have to pay for that facility. What we can also do here is click on this button to mute the microphone. So if it's a particularly noisy line and you're not having to say much, then you can just click on that and then unmute it at the time when you need to actually have some dialogue. We can also end our call from here by pressing this red button. The bit that's really interesting for us today, though, is this plus. If we click on that, we get another menu up. There's a few options in here. One is a send file option, so we can actually send that PDF directly over to our contact. Now, just as Andy always says with the Freedom to Choose brochure, it's not a good idea to leave it on the table and leave it open. You want to be in control of that, because otherwise you're distracting your contact from what it is you're trying to talk about. So I would hesitate with sending the PDF over to them because they may be a few steps ahead of you, reading what's coming next but not really paying attention to what you're saying. We can also send some contacts over. So if you had agreed with your upline that you would put them in touch with them and you have them on Skype, then that could be a nice way of doing so. If your sponsor was joining you on this call, they could do so from home and you can add people to this chat by selecting their Skype name and thereby creating a conference. This is also very powerful for team sizzles. If you have a team across the country or even across the world, you could dial all of those people through Skype to create a conference call and have your team sizzle reaching any part of the world. The tool that I want to show you this evening though is this share screens. So if we click this, Skype will disappear and we'll have a different box come up. Now what this will allow us to do, if I was to hit start now, it would just share my whole computer screen, as you can see here, with my contact, which doesn't look particularly professional because we've got a lot of icons down in the bottom and there's just extra bits of information on the screen that we just don't want to show. So Skype have been very clever and thought of this and provided this little drop down arrow. So if we now change to share window, you can see everything that we have open on the computer. So because we've already opened the freedom to choose, I click on that and click on start. So now our contact can only see the freedom to choose. You can see we've got this red box around the document, and that is telling us that Skype is sharing it. So as my mouse moves, as I change the page, my contact will see that. So it's exactly the same now as sitting and opening up that document, and also moving the mouse around is like pointing with our fingers. So we can go through the one-to-one just as we would do in person. As we change the page, all I'm doing here is just hitting page down on my computer, and if I hit page up, it will go back a page. So we can start off by going through the challenges that we're facing in the 21st century and relating it back to their wants and needs. And we can carry on and go through all of the testimonials that we want to pick out and talk about aloe, etc. If at any point during the one-to-one we want to go back to another document where we've made some notes, we could do, let's say we had a Word document open, we could come down and have a look at that, but our contact would not see that information because it isn't part of this window that's surrounded by the red box, and which is that freedom to choose PDF. Our contact is not able to change the page themselves. All they do is sit there, respond to you verbally, and can follow your mouse as you're moving around the document. Once you've finished and got to the end, all we need to do is hit stop sharing, and that will close the document for them. At this point you may want to come back to the plus and send the file over, which is then equivalent to them taking the brochure away with them. At the end of the conversation, once you've finished with moving on to the next steps, then you can end the call simply by pressing this red button, and this will take you back to the main Skype screen. I hope this has been useful for you. Like I say, this isn't the only way of doing an online one-to-one. There are many other tools out there, but if you have Skype and your contact has Skype, this is a nice free method of actually completing that one-to-one. So I hope this helps. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.